And I felt guilty, and I felt pretty ashamed to be using those design skills in a way towards that end. When I finished uni, part of the master's project meant I was sort of offered a job at a little company called Hewlett-Packard. And that Hewlett-Packard job, basically over there's the headquarters where they design all the large format printers. So if you think of graphic design architecture, all the banners and those were the printers I was designing. I still see those products today and sort of think about, oh yeah, that button there we put. When I first got into that job, there was something that didn't sit right. I was like, I don't know if this really fits with my values, but you know, it's sort of my break. I soon confirmed, working within, that it was certainly not where I wanted to be. Very, very smart people, but driven literally in that sort of corporate environment to be pumping these things in the thousands around the world. And I felt guilty, and I felt pretty ashamed to be using those design skills in a way towards that end. So pretty quickly I thought, this sort of strategic design, human-centered design process can actually be used to tackle some of these deep-rooted social, cultural, sort of environmental problems that I was talking about. And how might we start to use them in a way outside of printers to tackle these problems? And ultimately, after that year, I quit and started up a company. It was called the Emotion Lab. And so, you know, we don't need to talk about this urgency to tackle some of these deep-rooted wicked problems, you know, across the environment, cultural, sort of social space. And, you know, this world that we live in from a business perspective in many ways is contributing to a lot of those issues. And there's a better way. And 20 odd years later now, sort of have just continued to do that work, and it's sort of been, you know, using waste resources and circular economy stuff and all the stuff that we help people with now. For those of you with your own businesses or enterprise or running not-for-profits or even working in the corporate sort of like ESG space, wherever you are on that sort of spectrum, it's typically a roller coaster of ups and downs. And so it's been particularly in the last 3 to 4 years that there's been a much deeper focus on looking at that, like the holistic well-being of the people behind these organisations, because without their health being, you know, at optimal state, how might they even lead an organisation and a group of, you know, up to hundreds of people sometimes if, you know, they can't even lead themselves? If you're running a business or an organisation, you know, when the emails are flowing, you're doing those 12, 14-hour days or, you know, sort of ridiculous hours, sometimes it's also just learning when to say no. When do I just need to actually say, no, sorry, I can't do that. I can't commit to that because I can't give it my best if I do, and just being able to sit okay with that and not try to give everything to everyone.